Chloe, will you marry me? I will. That, I will, echoed through the wedding hall, followed by a wave of thunderous applause from the guests. It was also the sound of the last shred of my hope shattering into a million pieces, because the bride standing on the altar at that moment was none other than my girlfriend, Chloe Davis. But the man whose fingers were intertwined with hers was Julian Carter. Julian was Chloe's first love, the one that got away. They were forced to break up back in the day because his parents didn't approve of her family's financial status. After we got together, whenever Chloe had too much to drink, she'd get quiet and morose, murmuring Julian's name in her sleep. Just yesterday, Chloe got a text saying Julian was getting married in his hometown. She insisted we fly out that night to attend, saying she just needed to see him one last time for closure. Afterward, she promised we'd go to the courthouse and start our life together for real. I was ecstatic. I thought she was finally ready to let go of the past. After all, we'd been together for 7 years. 7 years of me proposing and 7 years of her turning me down, always saying the time wasn't right. But just a few minutes ago, sitting in the pews, Chloe got a text and suddenly bolted for the back room. I caught a flash of the name on the screen, Julian Carter, and a cold knot of dread formed in my stomach. After I pressed her, she finally told me what happened. Julian's fiancée had suddenly called off the wedding and run off with some rich guy. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my voice steady. His parents are here, and they can't fix this. What are you possibly going to do to help? Chloe's lips parted, and she said, matter-of-factly, I'm going to stand in as the bride, of course. It's a good thing I came prepared and brought my wedding dress. I'm going to change right now. She looked at me, annoyed. Ethan, don't just stand there in the way. Go find a seat in the audience. And please, don't blow my cover. I watched, stunned, as Chloe pulled a neatly folded wedding dress from her garment bag. It was a style adorned with white roses, Julian's favorite. It felt like I'd been kicked in the stomach, sending me tumbling into a bottomless pit. She came to someone else's wedding, but brought her own wedding dress. Not just a dress, but a full makeup kit, too. She was more than prepared. My 7 years with her felt like a joke. All her promises about us starting a real life together, a complete lie. I couldn't let my mind go there. I remembered all the times we'd walk past bridal shops. No matter how much I hinted, Chloe would never even glance inside, let alone agree to try on a dress. She used to say that a wedding dress represented the shackles of domestic life, that she didn't want her wings clipped so early. But here she was, willingly putting on that dress for another man. She didn't even care that she was just a stand-in, a substitute bride. Julian followed her around the prep room, handing her foundation and lipstick for touch-ups. Chloe playfully tapped his arm. Why is it your wedding? But I'm the one who's so nervous. You owe me big time for this. Julian gently placed the white veil on her head, a fond smile on his face. You're right, I really do. Thank you, Chloe. After this is over, I'll do anything you ask. He adjusted his suit. I'm going to head out to the altar and wait for you. Come out when you're ready. As he passed me, he shot me a dismissive, triumphant glance. Chloe finished her preparations in record time and stood up. Chloe, do you really have to do this? I grabbed her hand, begging her to just look at me. She yanked her hand away, her brow furrowed in annoyance. Ethan, can you not make a scene? Get your priorities straight, please. I can't leave Julian standing up there alone, she continued. He'll be a laughingstock. It's just a fake wedding, Ethan. We're not actually signing a marriage license. With that, she gathered the hem of her dress and eagerly walked onto the stage, taking the hand Julian held out for her. I don't remember how I got out of that room. I just found a seat in the corner, my body numb. It felt like the blood was being slowly drained from my veins, leaving nothing but an empty shell. On stage, Julian held Chloe's hand tightly, basking in the attention and well wishes of the crowd. Chloe never took her eyes off him, her gaze soft and affectionate, her smile curving like a crescent moon. The love in her eyes was unmistakable. I guess she would never truly be over Julian Carter. It didn't matter that I was the one who had been by her side longer, who had seen her at her best and worst, who had held her through every crisis. As long as Julian, the ghost of her past, existed, he would always be the one that got away, a permanent fixture in her heart that time could never erase. Julian was irreplaceable, and I was just disposable. A bitter laugh escaped my lips. My heart was dead. Chloe had no idea that was the last time I would ever try to hold on to her. I knew Julian was doing this to get under my skin. He even made a point to wave me over, telling me to grab a plate at the reception. He wanted me to watch them play the happy couple, to make me jealous, and, in turn, make Chloe see me as petty. Honestly, it was childish. And right now, I couldn't care less. Eat? You bet. I'd already put cash in the wedding card. I figured I'd consider it a thank you gift to Julian for showing me Chloe's true colors. I wasn't about to leave on an empty stomach. Julian was busy introducing Chloe to his relatives, going from table to table for toasts. I didn't look at them once. Chloe must have thought I'd finally learned my place. She cheerfully called me over to a quiet corner, reaching for my hand to soothe me. I recoiled as if her touch was toxic, pulling my hand back just as she reached for it. Her hand froze in midair, and a flicker of unease finally crossed her face. "What's your problem?" I smile, my voice calm. "No problem. I just don't love you anymore, Chloe. We're breaking up. This is the end." Chloe's smile vanished. Her mouth hung open, stunned. After a long moment, she asked in disbelief, "What are you talking about? The reception is almost over. Why would you bring this up now, out of nowhere?" She tried to grab my arm again, but I coldly pushed her hand away. My voice dripped with sarcasm. "I'm not kidding. Marrying Julian, isn't that what you've always wanted? You must be exhausted after all these years of pretending. You've always loved him. Well, congratulations. I'm setting you free." A flash of guilt crossed her eyes, but she quickly masked it. She knew exactly what I was talking about. When Chloe had tossed the bouquet from the stage, her voice was giddy with happiness. "Julian, I love you. I want to be with you forever," she'd shouted. "Whoever catches this is the next to find true happiness." In all our years together, I could count on one hand the number of times Chloe had actually said she loved me. Most of the time, a hug was the most I got. She always said, "I love you" was too heavy, that once you said it, it was a lifelong responsibility. Maybe using this fake wedding as a cover was the only way she could finally say what she'd been holding back for years, her true feelings for Julian. Chloe shook her head, trying to explain. "No, Ethan, that's not it. I was just acting, trying to make it look convincing for everyone." I waved her off dismissively. "It doesn't matter. Even if you were serious, it has nothing to do with me anymore." I turned to leave, but after a few steps, an arm grabbed me. "Ethan, man, where are you going?" A voice chirped. "Doesn't Chloe look beautiful in her dress today? You can't be thinking of leaving her here, all alone." Hearing Julian's voice made my stomach turn. He was pretending not to see that Chloe and I were fighting, making a pathetic joke that was really just his way of gloating that my girlfriend was wearing a wedding dress for him. "Let go of me," I ordered, my voice sharp. Before I could shake him off, Julian suddenly lost his balance and stumbled backward, slamming into the doorframe with a loud thud. Chloe gasped and rushed to his side, steadying him. "Julian, are you okay? Are you hurt?" she asked, her voice laced with worry. He let out a pained grunt, but forced a smile. "I'm fine, Chloe. I just had a little too much to drink today, lost my footing." He looked over at me. "It wasn't Ethan. He didn't push me. Please don't be mad at him." Julian was really willing to do anything to get Chloe's sympathy. That was a hard hit he took. And in just a few words, he'd managed to frame me. Chloe shot me a furious glare while rubbing Julian's back where he'd hit the frame. "Ethan, you have gone way too far today. Julian is innocent in all of this. If you're angry, take out on me. I'm the one who volunteered to help." She shielded him like a mother hen, as if she was afraid I was going to attack him again. I rolled my eyes, about to retort, but Julian spoke first. "I'm sorry, Ethan. People in my hometown love to gossip. If they found out my fiancé left me at the altar, my parents and I would never be able to show our faces around here again." He feigned a heavy sigh. "But I don't want to cause problems between you and Chloe. If this is making you unhappy, I'll go out there right now and clear the air." With that, Julian squared his shoulders, a look of noble sacrifice on his face, and started to march toward the stage. He'd barely taken a step before Chloe grabbed him. Her expression softened. "Julian, no matter what, you're one of my most important friends. How could I possibly abandon you?" "Don't go," she said softly. "You can't handle that." Then, her face hardened as she turned back to me. "Ethan, don't you know how vicious small-town gossip can be? Julian can't deal with those kinds of rumors. Are you trying to push him over the edge? Julian's talent for manipulation was as sharp as ever. Suddenly, I was the bad guy trying to break them up. I threw my hands up. Chloe, are you deaf or blind? First of all, I didn't touch him. Second, I'm not stopping you two from getting married. In fact, you two should go get a marriage license right now. Lock it down. Save the rest of the world from the trouble of dealing with you. Chloe blinked several times. She had clearly expected me to yell, maybe even get into a fist fight with Julian like I might have in the past. She never expected this, total indifference. She never expected me to be the one pushing her away. She scowled, ignoring everything I just said. Ethan, there's a limit to this temper tantrum. I'm gonna go change. We'll deal with you when I get back. Seeing her tone soften toward me, Julian visibly tensed up. He tugged on the hem of her dress, his expression pained. Chloe, you're leaving? But, never mind. The frustration Chloe had just shown me melted away as she turned back to Julian. Julian, is there something else you need me to do? He tried to sound casual. It's nothing, really. It's just, there's this old local tradition. The wedding night pranks. It's mostly for show. You wouldn't have to do anything for real. But if it makes you uncomfortable, you should just go. I'll figure something out. Chloe couldn't bear to see him distressed. She immediately puffed out her chest. Wedding night pranks. That's all. Leave it to me. We've made it this far. I'm not going to let you stumble at the finish line. Julian threw his arms around her in a hug, then shot me a triumphant smirk over her shoulder. Chloe, I don't know what I would have done without you. He then turned to me. Since you're here, Ethan, let me take care of your hotel room for the night. Before I could answer, a cool, crisp voice cut through the air. You don't need to worry about where Ethan's staying. I'll be taking him home. I turned in surprise. It was Maya Hayes, my childhood friend. 3. Maya's eyes narrowed as she sized up Chloe, her tone dripping with accusation. Chloe, I thought you told me you were bringing Ethan to someone else's wedding. What's this? Did you decide to get married yourself? A wave of embarrassment washed over Chloe's face. She quickly untangled herself from Julian's embrace and cleared her throat. Maya, you don't know what you're talking about, so stay out of it. My relationship with Ethan is none of your business. Maya scoffed, stepping confidently toward Chloe. Playing both sides, huh? Is that your thing? The person you don't value, someone else will. Maya took a step back and linked her arm through mine. I knew what she was doing. She was sticking up for me, making sure I wasn't cornered and alone. I cleared my throat. Maya, technically Chloe isn't playing both sides. We already broke up. A barely perceptible glimmer of light flickered in Maya's eyes. She looked straight at Chloe, her voice lifting with a newfound confidence. Well, Chloe, since you're broken up, I hope you and Julian have a wonderful life together. Because, as you know, I have feelings for Ethan, too. Chloe's face turned beet red. She gritted her teeth and pointed a shaking finger at us. You too. How could you? Ethan, you cheated on me? With her. Julian put on a fake, placating smile. Chloe, calm down. Ethan is probably just jealous about the wedding today. He's just trying to make you anxious by bringing Maya here. You know how much he loves you. He'd never fall for someone else. At his words, Chloe's anger subsided slightly. She shot me a sideways glance, a look of smug understanding on her face. Oh, I see. Ethan, you're being so petty, trying to get my attention like this. Before she could finish, Maya cut her off, going straight for the jugular. Don't flatter yourself, Chloe. Clinging to Ethan like this is just pathetic. And you, she said, turning to Julian, drop the act. We're not buying it. I think I heard something about wedding night pranks. Well, don't let us keep you. Ethan and I will get out of your hair. We wish you a long and happy marriage. Hope you two are locked in for life. Maya's verbal assault left Chloe and Julian sputtering, their faces shifting between red and white. Before they could recover, Maya was already pulling me away. As a breeze followed us out, I heard Chloe's voice, as if she was about to run after me. But then Julian's whiny tone cut in. Chloe, don't leave me. Unsurprisingly, I heard Chloe's reply. Okay, don't worry. I'll help you. I walked faster, pretending I hadn't heard anything. The cool night air felt liberating, more freeing than anything I'd felt in years. My phone buzzed with a few texts from Chloe. Ethan, I can't talk freely here. People will overhear. Stop being difficult. I have a few things to wrap up, but I'll be back tomorrow night. I promise I'll make it up to you. We can go to the courthouse this week. Reading her messages just filled me with disgust. Her affection felt so cheap. I didn't want it anymore. My screen showed she was still typing, but I didn't hesitate. I blocked her number, unfriended her on social media, and deleted her contact. A clean sweep. I steadied myself and had Maya drop me off in front of my office building. She had spent the whole ride trying to cheer me up, and she still looked worried as I got out of the car. I managed a small smile. Hey, don't worry. I'm really okay. And thanks for today, for getting me out of there. Maya started, then hesitated. After a moment of silence, she looked at me, her gaze steady. Ethan, what I said back there, I meant it. I froze. How could I not have known how she felt? Ever since we were kids, she'd never hidden her crush on me. But after I started dating Chloe, she respectfully faded into the background. The only time I'd hear from her was a carefully worded Happy 4th of July or Merry Christmas text. How could I not understand that behind every holiday greeting was a hidden I love you? Damn, it turns out I wasn't the only fool in this story. All these years, and she hadn't changed a bit, still instinctively protective of me, just like when we were kids. I sighed. Maya, you're a great person, and even though Chloe and I are done, you know how she is? She won't just let this go. I'm afraid. Maya shook her head. I don't care. Wait, just a second. She rushed to the trunk of her car and pulled out a huge bouquet of deep red roses, as vibrant and passionate as she was. A brilliant smile lit up her face as she walked back toward me, her eyes sparkling like they held the entire night sky. Ethan, I know for sure that I'm still in love with you. I have been for years, and I can't just turn it off. Please, just give me a chance. They say every relationship should start with flowers. So, let me pursue you. Is that okay? In that moment, it felt like fireworks were going off inside my chest, leaving behind a glow that would take a lifetime to fade. I had to admit, my heart skipped a beat. Maya's love was open and fearless. If she loved me, she would stand by my side, out in the open, and give me the best of herself. And here I was, blind for years, treating Chloe like she was some kind of treasure when someone this amazing was right here all along. How could I have been so blind? How could I have let you down? I gently ruffled her hair. Liking someone, pursuing someone. That's your right. You don't need anyone's permission for that. Her eyes lit up, full of hope. So, does that mean you'll let me pursue you? Maya was wonderful. She was kind, gentle, and deserved someone's undivided attention. But I had just gotten out of a relationship. Chloe still thought I was just throwing a tantrum. If I was going to start something new, it had to be with a clean slate. I owed that to Maya. I didn't answer her question directly, but I didn't want to leave her hanging. I smiled softly and reached for the roses. No. Suddenly, a familiar voice shouted from behind me. Chloe, who had said she wouldn't be back until tomorrow night, was standing there, looking exhausted from travel. Her eyes were red as she yelled, Ethan, you can't say yes to her. You promised you would only love me for the rest of your life. Chloe's brow furrowed as she lunged forward, trying to snatch the roses from my hands. You can't accept flowers from her. I'm your girlfriend. I quickly stepped back, easily dodging her grasp. She stumbled, her face etched with a look of wounded disbelief. Ethan, how could you do this to me? Are you really going to start dating Maya? I looked at her, my expression blank, and reminded her coldly, Chloe, I believe I made myself perfectly clear today. We are broken up. Who I date now is none of your business. That was it. She lost it. She stared at me, her voice rising. But Ethan, you promised me. You said you would never marry anyone but me. You always keep your promises. How can you go back on your word? Hearing her, I couldn't help but let out a cold, humorless laugh. Chloe, you literally just married another man. Why on earth would I still want to marry you? At my words, a smirk unexpectedly appeared on her face. She explained with an air of casual confidence. I knew it. You're still sulking about the wedding. I already told you. That was just to help Julian. It was all an act. If you're still upset, I'll make it up to you. When we get married, I'll throw you the biggest, most extravagant wedding you can imagine. My brow tightened in disgust. How could she do something so awful and still have the audacity to stand there and smile? You've got a lot of nerve. Don't be so delusional. I have no intention of being your second husband. If you're that desperate for another wedding, go ask Julian to marry you a few more times. Chloe's expression soured instantly. Her eyes narrowed, and she pointed a finger in my face. Ethan, I'm giving you an out. Take it. Don't push me. I flew all the way back here just to smooth things over with you. Are you really going to keep dragging out this petty little issue? And did you really have to bring Maya into it just to make me angry? With that, she pulled out her phone and shoved it in my face. I'm telling you, my patience has a limit. Don't piss me off. You had the nerve to block me? Unblock my number. Right now. I was about to refuse when her phone started ringing. It was the unique ringtone she had set for Julian. Perhaps because we were still in the middle of a fight, she hesitated, glancing at me before looking back at her phone. But the hesitation lasted only a second. She answered the call. I don't know what Julian said, but a visible panic washed over Chloe's face. She rushed to reassure him. Julian, don't panic. Stay right where you are. Don't move. I'm on my way. She hung up and started to run off, then stopped and turned back, offering me a half-hearted explanation. Ethan, Julian flew here too. He wanted to apologize to you in person. But he doesn't know the city, and he got lost as soon as he left the airport. I'm worried something might happen to him. I have to go find him. We can talk about us when I get home. As she left, she shot one last venomous glare at Maya. Maya, Ethan is my boyfriend. We're getting married soon. He's not someone you can just poach. I'm warning you, stay away from him. I sighed under my breath. It was exactly what I expected. Of course, Chloe had once again abandoned me for him. Between me and Julian, Julian was always the first choice. The only choice. But seeing it happen again just made everything clearer. It showed me who Chloe really was, and it reminded me who was actually good for me. Maya looked at me, her expression worried. Her gaze drifted down to the roses I was still holding. Ethan, are you going to get back together with her? If I'm making things difficult for you, you don't have to take the flowers. It's okay. She forced a smile, but her voice was thick with hurt. I was afraid she was about to cry. No one can graciously wish the person they love a happy life with someone else. I knew Maya. She seemed carefree on the surface, but she always carried her burdens alone. I sighed and decided to tease her a little. What? Regretting your big confession already? She looked up, her eyes shining, and shook her head, her denial firm. Of course not. I don't regret it. I nodded gently. Okay, wait here for me. I just have to take care of something. I'll be right back. A few minutes later, I came back downstairs from my office carrying a cardboard box. Maya saw the box, and her eyes widened. Ethan, did you just quit your job? I put the box in her car. Yeah, I did. I thought back to why I'd taken that job in the first place. It was for Chloe. Both Chloe and Julian came from humble backgrounds, and Julian's mother, who was obsessed with wealth, forced them to break up. To avoid hurting Chloe's pride, I cut ties with my own wealthy family, choosing to live a modest life with her, starting from the bottom as a junior employee. When Chloe struggled with her work, I'd stay up all night with her, teaching her how to create proposals and spreadsheets. I even passed up a promotion so she could have it instead. We didn't have much money back then, but I worked hard and saved every penny I could. I never wanted her to experience any hardship. I always gave her the very best I could offer. And in the end, my 7 years of devotion were wasted on a thankless user. Now that we were broken up, there was no reason for me to stay at that small company anymore. I made a mental note to call my parents. It was time to swallow my pride and apologize. I pulled up to the house I had shared with Chloe. As Maya got out of the car, she asked cautiously, "So what's the plan now?" I took out my keys and unlocked the door. This house, we bought it together, but the deed is only in her name. Now that we're broken up, there's no reason for me to stay here. I'm going to pack my things before she gets back and move out. Maya's face filled with concern. But then you'll have nowhere to go. Why don't you stay with me for a while? I have a spare room. You be welcome. As I started packing, I replied, "Okay, but I can't stay for free. I'll pay you rent." Maya beamed and puffed out her chest playfully. "Deal. Don't worry, I'm a great landlord. I won't overcharge you. Here, let me help." She opened my suitcase and started carefully folding my clothes. As we worked, I realized that Chloe's things took up almost the entire closet. There was very little in this house that was actually mine. It was a stark reminder that my relationship with Chloe had always been unbalanced. Maya enthusiastically helped me set up the guest room, even finding a brand new set of towels and toiletries for me. After stowing my luggage, she wiped a bit of sweat from her forehead and smiled. "Are you hungry? What do you want for dinner? I was a little surprised. Maya, you cook? She feigned a wounded look. We've known each other our whole lives. You really don't know me at all, do you? Her words hit home, and I looked down, a pang of guilt in my chest. After I started dating Chloe, I let my entire social life wither away. My world revolved around her. Maya suddenly grinned. You know what they say online, right? The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. I gently flicked her on the forehead, unable to hold back a laugh. You spend way too much time on the internet. Maya rubbed her forehead and tied an apron around her waist. Okay, I'll stop joking around. To celebrate your newfound freedom, I'm making your favorite, tomato soup and grilled cheese. These are things Chloe would never have done for me. Every day after work, Chloe would collapse on the sofa, complaining about how tired she was while directing me to do all the chores. She never lifted a finger in the kitchen. I was responsible for every single meal. I had even taken a class with a nutritionist to improve my cooking skills. Also, she could eat healthier. Now, watching Maya bustling around the kitchen, all for me, a warmth spread through my chest. My soul, which had been wandering and adrift for so long, finally felt like it had a place to land. Ethan, dinner's ready. What are you daydreaming about? Maya set the food on the table and waved a hand in front of my face. I shook my head slightly, pulling myself back to the present. I ladled a bowl of soup for her first. Nothing. I was just thinking. After dinner, I want to go see my parents. It's been a long time. Maya's face lit up with excitement. Really? You finally decided to? Your parents have been asking about you constantly. I paused, a spoonful of soup halfway to my mouth. I caught something in her tone. I cut off all contact with my family. How do you know they've been asking about me? Maya had the grace to look a little sheepish. She scratched her head and chuckled nervously. Well, I've gone to visit them a few times. They asked me how you were doing. Anyway, don't worry about it. I'll go with you. I'm sure they'll forgive you. Even though Maya spent the whole drive over giving me a pep talk, my hands were still trembling as I stood outside my parents' front door. That old feeling of being a stranger in my own home washed over me. In the end, it was Maya who rang the bell. The moment my mother saw Maya, her face broke into a wide smile. Oh, Maya, dear, it's so good to see you. You really don't have to bring gifts every time you visit. In that instant, I understood. Maya was a regular visitor here. In all the years I was gone, she had been quietly looking after my parents. A wave of guilt and gratitude washed over me, and a lump formed in my throat. Mom, I choked out. I'm home. My mother's eyes welled up with tears the second she saw me. Ethan, she scolded, her voice thick with emotion. Where the hell have you been all these years? You finally decided to come back? Maya gently guided my mother inside, then shot me a meaningful look. Andy, all the gifts today are from Ethan. Let's go inside and talk. A few moments later, my father came out of his study. They both looked older than I remembered, worn down by the years. Thanks to Maya acting as a bridge, my parents didn't lecture me too harshly. When they heard that Chloe and I had broken up, they both let out an audible sigh of relief. My father had told me from the start that he'd met countless women like Chloe in the business world, and that we would never last. I'd always thought he was just being prejudiced, but I never imagined his words would turn out to be a prophecy. On the way back to Maya's, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't known in years. I finally worked up the courage to say it. Maya, let's give this a try. You and me. She stared at me, stunned for a moment. Then, tears welled in her eyes as she nodded. Okay. Even though we were officially a couple and living under the same roof, I wanted to show her the respect she deserved. We would start our new life by dating properly. The next few days were the happiest I'd been in a long time. Until a week later, when an unwelcome guest showed up at her door. That evening, Chloe appeared, and Julian was right behind her. Seeing me and Maya standing together, Chloe's face was a mask of displeasure. She spoke in a commanding tone, as if I were a subordinate. Ethan, you've dragged this on long enough. It's time to come home. I frowned, annoyed. Chloe must have truly believed I would never leave her. Otherwise, she wouldn't have waited a whole week to find me. Or maybe she was just so used to me being there that she was in denial. I'd already made things perfectly clear. I sighed, my patience wearing thin. Chloe, I'm tired of repeating myself. We broke up. Besides, you have Julian now, don't you? Please stop harassing me. Julian stepped forward, putting on his best puppy dog expression. Ethan, you've got it all wrong. I came here because I was worried you and Chloe were having a misunderstanding. It's my fault I'm so bad with directions. I got lost right after leaving the airport. Chloe didn't abandon you on purpose. Maya, who never minced words, let out a derisive laugh. Lost? A grown man using an excuse like that should be embarrassed. If you were really lost, you should have called the police, not Chloe. What was she going to do? Besides, she continued, that was a week ago. Chloe, if you actually care about Ethan, why did you wait until now to look for him? Don't tell me Julian got lost on his way to another country, and it took you a week to find him. Chloe stomped her foot in frustration, glaring at Maya. Maya, who do you think you are? Don't you dare talk about Julian like that. It's okay, Chloe, Julian said, patting her shoulder affectionately. She's right. It was my fault. He held up a thermal container. Ethan, man, don't stay mad at Chloe. This whole thing is on me. The reason Chloe didn't come looking for you is because I got sick right after my flight landed. An upset stomach. Had to go to the hospital a few times. You know, Chloe, her bark is worse than her bite. Look, she even made you chicken soup to convince you to come home. I scowled. Julian's sanctimonious act was as nauseating as ever. Chloe had always claimed she couldn't cook. This was obviously soup she'd made for Julian's upset stomach. Even now, he was still trying to drive a wedge between us, showing off how important he was to her. Chloe crossed her arms and nodded toward Julian. Julian, why are you explaining so much? Some people just don't appreciate anything. Julian shot me a smug look, then opened the container. Ethan, the soup's still hot. You should drink it. He scooped up a spoonful and moved to feed it to me. Maya's reaction was instant. She shoved his hand away, knocking the container to the floor. What are you doing? She demanded. Hot soup splashed across the entryway. Chloe rushed to check if Julian was burned, then glared at Maya. Maya, are you crazy? I should be asking you that. What do you think you're doing? Maya retorted. She pulled me back a step and pointed an accusing finger. Chloe, you were with Ethan for 7 years. Did you forget he's allergic to scallions? A flicker of panic crossed Chloe's face. The soup had been sprinkled with a layer of finely chopped scallions, because Julian liked them. She looked at me, offering a rare apology. Sorry, Ethan. I didn't mean to. Maya stood her ground, refusing to let Chloe off the hook. She glanced at the spilled soup on the floor. That's right, you didn't mean to. There's barely any chicken in there, and not a single drumstick. I bet someone already picked out all the good parts. You were just going to let Ethan have the leftovers, weren't you? Maya's words hit their mark. Chloe's face flushed, and she couldn't meet my eyes. Maya waved her hand dismissively, her patience gone. All right, that's enough. Both of you need to leave. Chloe, if you don't want to cook, then don't. Who are you trying to fool with this garbage? My boyfriend can have anything he wants to eat. I'll make it for him. He certainly doesn't need a bowl of your leftover soup. Chloe suddenly snapped to attention, her brow furrowed. Wait, what did you just say? Boyfriend. Before Maya could answer, I stepped in. That's right. Maya and I are together now. What? Maya, you shameless homewrecker. You must have seduced him. Chloe screamed, lunging forward to slap Maya. I grabbed her wrist, spun her around, and pushed her away, stepping firmly in front of Maya to shield her. Chloe was even more incensed, her face a mask of disbelief. Ethan, you pushed me? You actually pushed me? For her. She looked like a madwoman. I felt no need to be gentle anymore. Maya is my girlfriend. Of course I'm going to protect her. Fine, Ethan. You win, Chloe seethed. I gave you a chance. You're going to regret this. She grabbed Julian's hand in a fit of pique. Julian, from now on, you're my boyfriend. We'll go get marriage license first thing tomorrow. Julian's face lit up as he pulled her into a tight embrace. Really, Chloe? You want to be with me? You know, all these years, I've never forgotten you. I had no interest in watching their melodrama unfold. I shoved them both out the door and slammed it shut. What? Are you two homeless? I yelled through the door. Go be disgustingly in love somewhere else. Whether Chloe's feelings for Julian were real or just an act of spite, it was no longer my problem. All I wanted now was to cherish the person right in front of me and build a good life. After reconciling with my parents, Maya and I started visiting them regularly. My father was getting older, so I began the process of taking over the family business. It was a stressful time, but I always made sure to carve out time for us. On weekends, we'd take road trips, just the two of us. Maya was the perfect partner, always enthusiastic. She'd plan our itinerary, pack the car, and take pictures, seemingly tireless. When you're with the person you love, she'd say, even picking up trash together is fun. I'd laugh at her strange analogies, and she'd stick her tongue out and stuff the souvenirs she'd bought in my pockets. 2 months later, Chloe showed up at my office. I almost didn't recognize her. Her clothes were torn and dirty, her hair was a mess, and she had a wild, unstable look in her eyes. The moment she saw me, she fell to her knees, grabbing my leg. "Ethan, help me. I'm begging you, please, help me." Something was clearly very wrong. Maya, with her kind heart, helped me call the police. We later found out the truth. There was no runaway bride. It had all been a setup, a trap laid by Julian and his parents. They saw that Chloe was doing well for herself in the city and hatched a plan to cheat her out of her money and trick her into marrying Julian, expecting her to become their family servant. Chloe, used to a comfortable life, was completely unprepared for that. Anytime she failed to meet their expectations, they would beat her. They didn't just take all her money. They left her covered in bruises, a shell of her former self. After Chloe escaped, she reported everything to the police. Julian and his entire family were arrested. I let out a long sigh, but I felt no pity for her. She had brought all of this on herself. After Chloe was released from the hospital, she started following me around, doing little things, trying to mend what was broken between us. I ignored her. The only thing I gave her was an invitation to my wedding. She froze on the spot, staring at it. A short time later, Maya and I had our grand wedding. I saw a familiar figure lingering by the entrance. It was Chloe. She didn't come in, just watch from distance. I pretended not to see her. I focused only on Maya as I slipped the ring onto her finger. Finally, happiness was something I could hold firmly in my own hands.